The morning started like any other. I was sipping coffee on my porch, enjoying the view of my open fields, when a sharp knock rattled my front door. Standing there was none other than HOA President Karen, clipboard in hand, wearing that smug grin she reserved for moments when she thought she had the upper hand. "Good morning," she chirped, without waiting for an invitation. "I've come to remind you that you need to conform to the neighborhood standards. Your home, your land, your entire setup, it doesn't align with our guidelines. You'll need to make adjustments immediately." I raised an eyebrow. "Neighborhood standards? Karen, I'm not even part of your HOA. Her grin faltered for half a second before she doubled down. "Oh, you live here, which means you fall under our jurisdiction. That's how it works. Everyone conforms, no exceptions." I let out a slow laugh. "Karen, you really don't know who you're dealing with, do you?" She puffed up like a balloon about to burst. "Don't get smart with me. The HOA can fine you, can restrict you, and if you don't listen, we can even move to evict you. So either fall in line or deal with the consequences." That was the moment I decided to show her just how wrong she was. I invited her inside, gesturing toward my office. She followed, clipboard clutched tightly, clearly thinking she was about to hand me a list of corrections. Instead, I pulled out a thick folder: land deeds, zoning maps, and property documents. "Here's the thing, Karen," I said, spreading the papers across the desk. "This land? It's zoned agricultural. This house? Built outside of HOA jurisdiction. And these lots?" I tapped the maps. "I own them all outright. Your HOA doesn't even extend to the road I live on." Her face turned pale as she scanned the paperwork, realizing the implications. I wasn't under her HOA, never had been, and never would be. She tried to recover, stammering, "Well, you still need to." I cut her off. "No, Karen, I don't need to do anything. But you do. You need to leave my property immediately before I have you removed for trespassing. And just so you know, this conversation is being recorded." I pointed to the small camera above the doorframe, its light blinking red. Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. She knew she'd overstepped again. But instead of apologizing, she stormed out, muttering threats about how I'd regret this. Little did she know I was already several steps ahead. That very evening, I sent copies of the land deeds and a legal notice to the entire HOA board, clarifying in no uncertain terms that my property was outside their control. Any further attempts to interfere with me would be considered harassment and met with immediate legal action. Within days, the board distanced themselves from Karen. No one wanted to be dragged into a lawsuit, especially after I made it clear I had the financial resources and legal standing to bury them in court. Karen had overplayed her hand, and for once, her precious HOA didn't back her up. The humiliation was complete. She had strutted onto my porch declaring power she didn't have, only to be exposed as nothing more than a busybody with a clipboard and a loud mouth. My neighbors laughed about it for weeks, whispering about how Karen had tried to conform someone who wasn't even part of her neighborhood. As for me, I enjoyed every second of my freedom. No HOA, no ridiculous rules, no one telling me how tall my grass could be or what color I could paint my shutters. Just my land, my house, and the satisfaction of knowing Karen would never again set foot on my property. The lesson was clear. Karen's imagined authority meant nothing against real ownership. She demanded conformity, but in the end, the only thing that changed was her reputation, shattered in front of the very people she claimed to represent. That night, as the sun dipped behind my fields, I raised a glass to the sweet taste of independence. Karen had tried to pull me under her control, but instead, she learned the truth the hard way. I was never part of her HOA, never would be, and never needed her approval for a single thing.